Thank you so much for joining us for this online version of our High School 101 presentation. Firstly, we hope that you and your families are keeping safe and healthy right now. We understand that the transition from junior high to high school can seem a bit daunting for anyone under normal circumstances, and perhaps especially right now with our current situation of COVID-19. However, Churchill is a very accepting and diverse school with lots of amazing students and teachers. You'll find it will be easy to make new friends and you'll fit right in.
Hi everyone, my name is Arvind Rajan. I'm the principal of Sir Winston Churchill High School, and I just wanted to take this opportunity to welcome you to our virtual High School 101. The video that you are about to see was basically all done by our students, and it gives you an idea of the kinds of students we have, the kinds of programs, and some helpful tips that I think you would all find very informative about what the high school life will be like for you next year, and what can you anticipate, and some helpful hints about navigating what high school is all about. Without further ado, welcome again to Sir Winston Churchill and enjoy the video. Thanks.
Hello everyone, my name is Sneha and today I will be talking you through the basic timetable of a day at Sir Winston Churchill. Now in our timetable there is a first bell that signals that at the end of each period, students should be making their way to their next class. And 5 minutes later there is a warning bell that tells students that their next class is beginning. From Mondays to Thursdays, there is a tutorial that is held each morning from 8:15 to 8:50 a.m. Now each day is split into 4 periods, and each period runs for 80 minutes, with the exception of period 2. Period 2 runs for 85 minutes to make room for morning announcements. Lunch is held between periods 2 and 3 and runs for 45 minutes. Now our Friday schedule looks a little bit different because school will end at 1 p.m. Classes run for 65 minutes and school will begin at 8:15 a.m., which of course means that there are no tutorials held on Fridays. Instead of a lunch break, there is a 15-minute snack break between periods 2 and 3. Now, moving on to the school year as a whole. Our school year is split into 2 semesters. The first semester runs from September to January, and the second semester runs from February to June. Now, within each semester, there are 2 terms. So in the total time of the school year, we have 4 terms. Term 1 will run from September to November. Term 2 will run from November to January. Term 3 runs from February to April. And Term 4 runs from April to June. Now, we have a question for you. What time of day do you learn best?
And here you can see our tumbling timetable. On Mondays, we go from period 1, 2, 3, 4. On Tuesdays, it is 2, 1, 4, 3. Wednesdays, your afternoon classes move to the morning, starting with period 3, then 4. And your morning classes move to the afternoon, so period 1 and then 2. On Thursday, they simply change order again, so it is 4, 3, 2, 1. As mentioned earlier, Fridays are a shorter day and follow the Monday order. This timetable allows you to take each class at your best time for learning at some point in the week. You'll see that in the morning before your first class, from Monday to Thursday, it may appear that you have the same class twice. That is tutorial time from 8:15 to 8:50 a.m. So, on Mondays, your designated tutorial is for your period 1 class. At the end of the tutorial, when the bell rings for class to start, you would just stay in your period 1 class. However, you don't necessarily have to attend the tutorial for the designated class on the timetable. Most teachers are flexible about when you come in for help and will let you know their preferences at the beginning of the semester.
course that you take in high school will give you the credits that you need if you pass the class with a minimum of 50%. In junior high, if a student struggled with grade 7 science, they would still move into grade 8 and take grade 8 science. However, in high school, if a student does not pass Science 10, they will still move into grade 11. However, they would need to repeat Science 10 or take Science 14, which follows a different stream. This is to ensure that the student is earning enough credits to graduate. It is important to work hard and be on the right path towards graduation. Now, to graduate from high school, you will need a minimum of 100 credits. We will talk about where those credits will need to specifically come from a little bit later. However, at Churchill, we offer courses that are either 5 credits or 3 credits. Now, the 5 credit courses run for 1 full semester, and these are typically your academic and second language courses. The 3 credit courses typically run for 1 term, and these are your complementary courses. Most career and technology study courses run for 1 term, and they contain 3 1-credit modules. Now, moving into absences. Parents should call the main office if students are going to be absent from school on a particular day. Students need to communicate with their teachers about any absences that they may have beforehand and make up any work as soon as possible upon their return to school. For any extended leave of absence, which is considered to be 4 days or more, parents need to complete an extended leave of absence form and hand it in to the main office at least 2 weeks prior to the scheduled absence.
In high school, students write a final exam for their 5-credit academic courses, either in January or in June. Each subject writes at a different date and time, with the exam schedule posted on the school website and on posters throughout the school. Teachers will also remind students about the date and time and go over specific rules and guidelines for writing the exam. For students in the IB program, IB exams are usually written in May. During the exam period, IB students will not have regular scheduled classes, so students will only attend school for special tutorials from their teachers and write their exams. At Churchill, each student will be given a locker. Lockers are shared between 2 students. You can decide on a locker partner and come to school with them on the day lockers are assigned, or find a new friend and be assigned a locker buddy. Homerooms are assigned to students by their last names in alphabetical order. Students will go to their homeroom a few times a year to receive finalized timetables, report cards, forms, and other important information. In the case of school supplies, it is preferred that you bring some essential supplies such as the basic writing materials and binders, with paper or a notebook on the first day of school. However, there is no need to rush to buy everything ahead of time, as teachers will provide a course outline and materials list on the first day of classes. At this point, Devin will give you a bit more insight into the different courses that we have to offer here at Churchill.
Thank you so much, Sneha and Andrea. In high school, there are a variety of courses to choose from. Some are optional and some are mandatory. In grade 10, there are 5 of these mandatory or compulsory courses: math, science, English, social studies, and physical education at the 10 level. These courses will be taken at the level that is recommended by your junior high teachers. For example, you may be recommended to go into Math 10C or Math 10-3 to fit your needs. Besides the mandatory courses, students have the flexibility of choosing many different option courses, and there are 3 different categories: Career Technology Studies, International Languages, and Fine Arts. These courses are a great opportunity to focus on doing something you're passionate about. These complementary courses also help you complete a required section of the Alberta High School Diploma. One of the most important things in high school is going out and exploring what you're good at and what your passions are. When I was in grade 10, I took graphic design, and not only was it one of my favorite classes, but I met so many peers with similar interests as me. Even as a kid, I played around with many motion graphic and 3D modeling applications. However, once I started graphic design as an option, not only was I able to apply my skills I previously learned, but I also been able to make them better than before. I absolutely love the design, animation, and modeling parts of computer science, so being able to do and spent a whole term of what I specifically like doing on a computer was so much more enjoyable than just a broad computer course. Even when I'm not in class, through the skills I have learned in graphic design, I've been able to apply these skills and help many organizations create graphics and animations for ads. At Churchill, there are also language learning opportunities. We offer Chinese, French, and Spanish. All of these languages are incredibly valuable and useful to learn. But besides learning about the language, students are also able to learn about the culture and history of the origin country. And if you're interested, you can also take more than one language. When I was applying to Churchill, I thought to continue what I had stopped in junior high. I took up Spanish once again after my Spanish journey was on a hiatus for a few years, and over just one grade, I learned more than I did in just 3 years back in junior high. I even learned a lot about the culture in varying Spanish-speaking countries, which is something I am extremely passionate about. And now to explain the grading system in high school is Farishta.
Hello, my name is Farishta and I'm a grade 11 student at Sir Winston Churchill High School, and I'll be talking about the grading system at Churchill. When you reach high school level, the grading system is a little different than the 1, 2, 3, 4 grading scale you were likely used to in junior high and elementary. In high school, we use percentages. For example, if I receive a 45 out of 50 on my math test, I would receive a grade of 90% instead of a 4. I prefer this better than the scale as it lets me know my exact grade instead of just a range. As many of you may have previously used, at Churchill, we use PowerSchool to keep track of report cards and marks. This is available both on a website or an app on any smartphone. This app function, which is available to both students and parents, is extremely convenient, allowing you to set notifications and reminders that will help you keep organized and track course progression and marks. In addition, PowerSchool also allows you to check your day-to-day schedule, view teacher contact information, and check your online report cards. Now that we know about grading systems, as with anything, it's always important to know your end goal. So here's Sunny to share some information on the requirements to obtain an Alberta high school diploma.
So when you successfully pass a course, meaning you receive a mark of 50% or higher, you'll receive the credits for that class. Credits in grade 10 are at the 10 level, credits in grade 11 are at the 20 level, and credits in grade 12 are at the 30 level. So the first requirement for the Alberta High School Diploma is you have to have English and Social Studies up to the 30 level, and this can be taken in either the -1 stream or the -2 stream. For sciences, you have to take any science up to the 20 level. You can also fulfill this requirement by taking Science 14 and then Science 10. Same thing goes for math. You have to take math up to the 20 level. You also need to take Phys Ed 10 as well as Career and Life Management, also known as CALM. And this is basically like a life skills course that most people take in grade 11. So the next requirement is that you have to have a minimum of 10 credits in any combination of the following complementary courses. And finally, by the end of grade 12, you want to make sure you have a minimum of 20 credits at the 30 level. And because you're already taking English and Social Studies, this leaves an additional 10 credits to be taken in any class at the 30 level. Most students will take maths and sciences for their post-secondary requirements, but you can also take complementary courses as well. So at the end of high school, you want to make sure you have a minimum of 100 credits to graduate and receive your diploma. And if you want a little bit more information on all of the graduation requirements, you can check out some of the course pathway charts we have on our school website, and those will give you a little bit more guidance. And I know all of this sounds like a lot of information and it can be quite overwhelming, but our school counselors will be there every step of the way to make sure that you're on track for graduation. Now, speaking of our guidance counselors, let's talk a little bit about some of the student resources we have here at Churchill.
Each student at Sir Winston Churchill will be assigned to a guidance counselor based on the first letter of their last name. Your guidance counselor will be the students' and parents' go-to person for any personal or academic needs. Specific questions about the academic course is always to is always best to address with the student's teacher. For me, this was similar to the role my homeroom teacher played in junior high. This can be anything from dealing with stress, balancing your schedule, making sure you have the required credits for graduation, or getting information about post-secondary institutions. Counselors are available through appointment. The easiest way to do this is to go to the student services located right behind the office and talk to the secretary, who will be able to find a time that works for both you and your counselor. We would prefer you to go to student services to book your appointment during tutorial, class, at lunch, or after school. Students are not limited to seeing their guidance counselor during scheduled appointments. However, if you're upset about something or something urgent comes up at any other time, see the secretary right away and she will find someone to see you. Additionally, our principal, Mr. Rajan, is very student-centered and approachable. His role is to support all students. We have 3 assistant principals who are also assigned to you based on your last name. You will always find the assistant principals outside of the main office before and after school. They are often walking around the school throughout the day. Go up and introduce yourself. They're happy to help. And students are also welcome to make appointments with the administrations if they are in need to discuss particular matters. In addition to guidance counselors, the teachers are always available to help. We like each student to have at least one adult in the building that they feel comfortable talking to if they are ever in need of anything. This could be their guidance counselor or any other teacher that they have connected with. Tutorials, as mentioned before, which take place every Monday to Thursday from 8:15 to 8:45, are a great time to communicate with your teachers. Whether that's clarifying something from the previous day's lesson, asking for one-on-one help, getting help with concepts or homework that you had trouble with, reviewing quizzes or unit tests, or asking a teacher to review an assignment before submitting it to make sure that you are on the right track. Tutorials in a teacher's classroom are always a good place to come sit down, study, work, and maybe get some support from your peers who are also in that class. I've always found tutorials to be extremely helpful to go over quizzes and unit tests and make corrections. Tutorials aren't mandatory but are highly recommended. Getting into a routine by attending tutorials in grade 10 will help to create a positive habit for the rest of your high school years. For parents, it's always better to ask your child how they are planning to use tutorial time each morning rather than if they are planning to attend. Remember that all teachers want you to be successful and they are happy to help. Additionally, the following specialists are available in and around the school: the school nurse, the ELL learning teacher, the ELL educational assistant, and the school resource officer. In September, when school startup slows down, all grade 10 classes will be visited by a guidance counselor who will remind them of all of these supports that are available, the names of all of these specialists, as well as how to gain access to them. If you or your child has any questions, guidance counselors will be readily available to address them at any time. Often, the best way to get in touch with any of these supports would be to first talk to your guidance counselor, who can then direct you to them. An additional support is the Learning Center, which is located in room 101. This space is used to help students who have IPPs and accommodations. However, it is accessible to everyone Monday to Friday during tutorials and spares. Peer tutoring is also available to students at Churchill. Listen for announcements at the beginning of the year on how to sign up online for this resource. We also have a number of online resources to help you in high school. On the day in late August, when grade 10 students come to pick up their timetables, textbooks, and get their lockers, we also assist them for signing up for My Blueprint and My Pass. My Blueprint is something we ask all grade 10 students to sign up for. It is a great resource to help you find your strengths and weaknesses as a learner, information on post-secondary programs that would be a good fit for you, as well as potential career paths. It is also extremely helpful for the mandatory course Career and Life Management, or COM, that everyone has to take. MyPass is another online resource that we ask students to sign up for at the beginning of grade 10, although it may not be used until later. It is great for scholarships and post-secondary applications, as you can request official transcripts and view diploma exam marks. Many of you are already familiar with D2L, which is great news because a lot of the teachers at Churchill use it as well. They may use D2L to post assignments and announcements about the class as well as homework. For some courses, you will be asked to take quizzes and submit assignments digitally through D2L. Calgary Transit. So, Churchill also has buses that pick up and drop off to our designated neighborhoods before and after school. You can check out the Calgary Transit website for more information on these routes. And now for my favorite part of high school, the extracurricular activities and opportunities. I will pass it on to Kelly.
The best way to feel involved in the community is to get involved. So here at Churchill, we have a lot of extracurriculars and opportunities that we offer. So on the screen, you'll see some sports that are competitive and require tryouts. So if you've done these sports in junior high and you would like to try out, we definitely urge you to give it a go. And even if you don't have formal experience and you want to try it and you think you'd really love the sport, we definitely urge you to try it out as well. So in terms of time commitment, most sports have 2 to 3 practices a week, either after school or before tutorials, so in the morning. And this normally lasts throughout the entirety of the season, which depending on the sport can go from 2 to 4 months long. And you can reach out to specific coaches for more information. And so all athletic students get to attend the athletic breakfast, which is a perk or benefit of being an athlete here. And if you aren't really interested in sports that require tryouts or don't really want to do a competitive sport, that's all right. We have sports that don't require tryouts and is like a no-cut team. So we have cross-country, football, track, and intramurals. And intramurals are just sports to kind of get together with friends, and it's kind of like something you do over lunch. And there's clubs that we do, such as table tennis, badminton club, climbing club, and yoga club that are definitely no-cut, and anyone can join them. Churchill has over 50 clubs for you to find your passion and to meet new people. I challenge you to join as many clubs as you would like and to get involved as much as you can outside the classroom. So if that means joining 1 or 2 or as many clubs as you would like, it's a great way to explore what you really love and what you want to explore more of. Churchill has such a warm and encouraging environment and atmosphere for extracurriculars because there's so many and you're bound to meet people that share the same interests as you. And it's a really good break and a stress reliever from all your classwork. And so personally for me, I joined all the clubs I was even a little bit interested in just to see how they would go. So stuff like Mustard Seed Club and Chronicles and doing Citizens of Churchill like this. I met some of the most amazing people in those clubs, and it made my grade 10 and grade 11 year just that much better. And I don't really know where I'd be without those clubs because they're such a big part of my life now. What I really love about Churchill is there's so many people around you, such as your peers and your friends and teachers who are very supportive of what you do and your goals. So even if you want to go above and beyond our developed clubs, you can go as far as making your own as well. It's worthy to mention that students give out reference letters for students who participate in the club, which can be super helpful for future applications. We have a club fair every year in the second week of September where all the clubs have a booth in the foyer, and you're free to walk around and join any club that you would like. And there's going to be people running it to answer your questions and provide a more personal introduction to any clubs that you'd like to be in. So getting involved isn't restricted just to joining clubs. You can also volunteer in and out of the school. So Volunteer Churchill is a club that we have with over 500 students, where there's a steering committee who finds experiences and opportunities outside by contacting organizations, and they introduce those to you in monthly meetings where you're free to sign up for them, and whichever ones you like, and you'll just be volunteering with a group of Churchill students somewhere else. And it's a great opportunity because it saves you time because you don't have to personally find those opportunities, and you get to meet a lot of new people. So clubs such as Citizens of Churchill, Leadership, and the High School 101 Committee that organize these events are often in need of volunteers, so there's a lot of clubs that could use your help. Something worthy to mention is if you take gym all the way up to the Phys Ed 30 level and you decide to take the leadership course, you do get the opportunity to organize stuff like the pep rally, the school dances, and spirit days for the school. Now to move on to the rewards of high school, scholarships.
Scholarships are important for planning for post-secondary, and who doesn't love free money? Don't worry too much about them just yet, but remember to work hard in all your classes. Make sure to collect letters of participation in clubs and sports from Mr. Rajan, and keep track of what you've done throughout high school so that you don't have to think back. A suggestion to help remember what you've done is to start a brag sheet. Include dates involved, hours per week, total hours, and contact information for a reference. Keep all your certificates and reference letters in one place. You can also earn money throughout high school starting in your grade 10 year. Every year, Churchill students earn over $1 million collectively from the Rutherford Scholarship. You apply for the Rutherford Scholarship in grade 12, but you can receive money and up to $400 just for your grade 10 marks. It requires an average of 75% or higher in 5 separate subjects, and for each grade you satisfy that in, you get the money. On this slide, we have the sample list of some scholarships that are available once you get to grade 12. The major scholarships that are worth tens of thousands of dollars take into account both academics and community leadership, so all the more reason to get involved. And now for some particular startup information regarding the first week of school.
In the first week of August, you will receive a newsletter with information about school startup and school events that will be taking place during the first week of school. Your homeroom teacher will also be giving you a call to welcome you. There will be a designated day for you to come into school to get your student ID, your locker, your textbook, as well as sign up for student resources such as My Blueprint. On the first day of school, there will be a welcome assembly for grade 10 students in the main gym. Then you will go to homeroom to receive forms and informations as well as receive a tour of the school. After that, you will be invited to attend a welcome barbecue, especially for grade 10 students. On the second day of school, you will go to homeroom for a short meeting and to hand in your forms, and then classes will begin. We hope that this helps, and to end off, we students wanted to share a few of the tips that we found extremely helpful during our high school experience.
Hi everyone! So my first tip would be to do something that you love each and every day. Self-care is extremely important, and it's something that doesn't necessarily have to be found within the school or within your extracurriculars. It can be something like spending time with your friends and family, and that's an excellent way to take care of yourself. In high school, it can be very difficult to balance your academic priorities with your personal health and your social life. And it's really important to find that time to take care of yourself and do one thing, big or small, to just put your mind and your body at a state of ease and peace, because ultimately you will thank yourself for it in the long run. Now, personally, I love ending off a night of studying or revision with watching an episode of my favorite TV show, or reading a few chapters from the novel that I may be reading at the moment. And personally, I have found that those are the best ways for me to end off the night with a state of relaxation and self-care. Now, self-care is a real win-win situation because it can really improve your efficiency and keep you more focused during school. So, for example, let's say you do a bit of self-care one night and then you go to school the next day. The next day, you are really comprehending all the content that you're learning and you're really understanding all the concepts. And then you come home that day and you are revising through and you realize that you don't have to do as much revision as normal because you were able to really understand it during school. Now you have created more time for yourself and thus you can do more self-care. So if you are able to find that balance in the cycle, it's something that will just keep on giving for you. Now, my second tip would be to not be afraid to ask for help. This may be a bit of a cliche tip because there's always that saying of, oh, don't be afraid to ask questions. But in Sir Winston Churchill, there are so many incredible resources and support to just help you through this journey of high school. The teachers, the students, the administration, they all know what you're going through. And they all know that you are essentially going to one goal, and that is to graduate and to get into a good university, let's say. So they know the amount of stress that we take on as high school students, and finding an adult connection within the school can really help a high school student because you are able to just de-stress and vent towards them. especially if you trust them. And this could be a teacher, an administrator, a club advisor, or maybe a coach, let's say, or obviously, your guidance counselor. That's another really great resource that you also have. But every student in Sir Winston Churchill deserves and needs a connection, an adult connection, to just keep yourself grounded and proper throughout this whole process of high school. The Sir Winston Churchill staff are all willing to help you, and so is the student body. Now I will pass it on to Devin. That's all from me, and thank you.
Get involved with the school and please continue with your pre-existing extracurriculars that you're passionate about. Many think that they need to drop their extracurriculars to make time for high school, but extracurriculars are even more important now that you've entered high school. There are so many clubs and courses that there are bound to be some that you're passionate about. It is very important to be well-rounded and not just focus your whole high school career on just grades, because it isn't just about grades. Universities also want to see if you're well-rounded, which is why there's a section to put in any clubs or extracurriculars that you're in. Another big thing is that you get to meet many people that you might have not met otherwise. It's important to branch out and meet much more friends, because in high school, you might not be in the same classes as your friends. I met so many of my closest friends just from joining clubs and then realizing that they're also in my classes, and it's just a recipe for a good time in school. My friends are everything to me. They can help me in classes when I don't know how to answer a certain question, or just allow me to have a place to wind down, relax, and have fun.
The first tip is use tutorials. Tutorial time is incredibly beneficial as it gives you some one-on-one time with your teacher to clear up some questions, look at your past performances, or even work on your own to review before the big exam. There are designated days for tutorials in different classes. The teachers are always willing to help you out too, so don't be afraid to ask questions. I always make sure to use tutorials to get a strong understanding of the topics taught in my class. Attendance is key. Each academic class lasts for 5 months, and each class is 1 hour and 20 minutes long, which is twice as long as a junior high class. Therefore, missing one class is the equivalent of missing 2 junior high classes. Because the pace in high school is faster, we advise you to attend the classes regularly, as it can be difficult to catch up. If you ever do miss a class, check in with your teachers as soon as possible to ensure that you catch up on what you have missed. And you could also use tutorials for that. On Fridays, it's a short day when the classes last for about 90 minutes, and this gets you to relax a little bit before the weekend. Last but not the least, finish your assignments on time. Making sure to hand in your assignments on time is very important because a missing assignment can negatively impact your average. One thing that helps me make sure that I stay on top of things is my planner. Whenever the teacher gives us due dates for assignments or homework, I always make sure to write everything down in my planner. By writing stuff down, it keeps me much more organized and I don't have to run the risk of forgetting to do an assignment. Another important tip is to do your homework in order to solidify your understanding of a topic. As I said earlier, classes in high school have a faster pace than classes in junior high. As an IB student, it is very important to do the assigned homework to review the information taught in class. That way, I can see where my strengths and weaknesses lie and then focus on my weaknesses. Thank you.
Thank you again. We hope you and your families are staying safe, happy, and healthy. Please don't hesitate to reach out if we can ever be of any help. Remember to find strategies that will help you seek the fun in every class and take things easy. Take care.